Google Conversion is the place you need to go in Google Analytics to see your goals and also see your transactions. It's an important section because it tells you what's converting and what's not. We'll learn all of the basics of Google Conversion right after this. Welcome back. Today's episode is about Google Conversion, an important section in Google Analytics, a pretty complex one if you dig into the intricate details, but for the beginners, we will keep this episode simple and straight to the point. Let's get started. I go there by going to the left navigation and clicking on Conversion and clicking on Goals. Goals is an important section of Google Analytics. And the first thing I see here is I need to set up goals. Obviously, I haven't used this before, so let's click on Set Up Goals. And really, goals are a section inside of the administration in Google Analytics. With Google Analytics, you get up to 20 goals that you can set for each view. So if you have 3 views, you can think of it, you have 60 goals. But for the most part, let's just focus on creating our first goal and trying to understand what goals mean in the context of Google Analytics. Let's start with a new goal. Here's the template that Google Analytics has created for me, and it's pretty simple. There are certain templates, so I can pick and choose from a variety of built-in templates for goals, or I can create my own. If I want to start with something that Google has created for me, I can select, for example, place an order, or in some cases, my goal would be making users create an account, or it could be subscribing to a newsletter. These are all examples of goals. Basically, high level, you have set these goals, and obviously if a user goes ahead and completes a goal, you have won that particular goal. And this is how Google tracks it. So again, a variety of different goals set by Google Analytics for me, a contact us page, maybe a user read a review. It's really up to you how granular or how generic you want your goal to be. For the sake of the simple example in this tutorial, I want to show you a custom goal. And a custom goal is not difficult if we're creating a simple one. So let's go ahead and click Continue. The goal that I want to do is, or create in Google Analytics, is simply every time a user signs up for my newsletter or joins my website, I have a simple form. Let me show you the form. The form is here on the website and it says, "Welcome, feel free to join us." So if I click on Join Us, I have the simple form that asks the user for their first and last name and an email. And the moment they hit the Submit, so let me go ahead and enter my information. Let's assume that's me, and I'm putting my email account, and I say Submit. There it is. I go to this thanks page. So the thanks is basically the page that I'm looking for, and what I'm going to do here is create my goal inside of Google Analytics. Let me create a name for the goal. I'm calling it, let's say, newsletter joined. And here I have several types. Because my Google Analytics here is simply every time somebody goes to the thanks page, according to my rules, this is when a user has converted and has achieved that goal. So I'm going to select destination. There are 4 different types of goals in Google Analytics. The first and the most simple is the destination one, which means if a user reaches a certain HTML page or a particular page, that's when the goal is fired and achieved. And we also have a second type, which is duration. And that is if we are able to engage the user for a particular period of time. Say I have a web page, and every time a user spends 15 minutes or more on a particular page, or probably on the whole website, I can fire a goal, and this could be of type duration. I also have another goal type in Google Analytics, which is pages per screens per session. It means if my user have seen a number of pages within his visit, let's say he or she visits 5 pages or more, that's when I consider this to be a goal. So I can go ahead and select that. And also we have events. Events are more complex, and it means that if I have created an event on my web page, say if a user clicks on the play button of a particular video that I'm trying to promote, I can put an event on that particular video click, and every time that happens, I can trigger the goal and make it succeed. So in this case, for my simple example, I'm using the destination again because it's a simple HTML page that is leading to my goal. I click on next, and this is where I get more granular with this particular destination goal. And I'm going to say if my page contains thanks, and I'm going to make sure that it says, I can say regular expression, and I can simply make it contain /thanks. Okay, that will guarantee that my page is visited. Again, here it instructs me that I can also use the equals to thanks. In case my page is always ending with thanks, I can actually go ahead and choose this instead. And there is this section which assigns a monetary value on your goal. So this doesn't really apply all the time, but in certain cases you might want to make use of it. And it's how much money, how much revenue would you consider every time a user converts or achieves that goal? You can make your calculations, or you can put a random number that is more or less feasible. For example, let's say $2. That is the value that I think is worth every time somebody subscribes to my newsletter. And if you don't want to worry about this, just keep it disabled and move on to the second section, the funnel. The funnel is interesting, and it really works when you're setting goals for your e-commerce website, or when you have a funnel of more than one page that you want the user to go through in order to convert. For example, let's say I have an online store, and I also have a product page, and a cart page, and a checkout page, and finally the thank you page. All of the other pages preceding the thank you page will be considered as part of the funnel, and I can allow Google Analytics to actually track the user as they progress through the funnel. And through something called the funnel visualization, Google Analytics will allow me later to see how people are progressing in the shopping cart funnel. For now, for my simple example, there is no need to turn this on. So I can go ahead and say verify this goal. This is important if you have a lot of users in the past who might have converted, and you want to make sure that your goal that you're setting is somehow working. You can actually see, and if you see a certain percentage here, you're pretty much sure that your goal is correct. Now, I haven't created this before. I just created it minutes before shooting this tutorial, so I don't expect to see any conversion yet. But still, I'm going ahead to save it. And as you can see, I can see the name of my goal here, newsletter joined. At any point in time, you can click here and make changes to the name of your goal. For example, if I go here on description, goal description, I can change it to something else if I want to. The moment I hit done, the changes are saved, and I can go ahead and retrack and see the viewers of my website, how they are achieving the goal. Okay, now again, if I want to create more, I can hit the new goal and go ahead and create more and more goals. As we go deeper into Google Analytics and as I start creating tutorials for more advanced users, I promise that I will have a different type of goal examples for you guys to learn from. So for the sake of this simple basic tutorial today and to keep it short, I'm happy with only this goal. So how do we go about continuing? I can click here on the conversion and go to my goals and see an overview. And obviously I don't have any goals yet recorded in my system. Let me go ahead and try to create a goal, make it happen. So I'm going ahead and joining. Going to put my name. Okay, and hit submit. It says thanks. So in essence, my goal should now be fired, and Google Analytics in theory should have tracked this goal. Now, how can I get to seeing it? Well, the only way for me is to actually wait a few hours. Sometimes it's around 10 to 12 hours. Sometimes it's just 2 hours in Google, and make sure you select the date that pertains to the goal that took place. So obviously you can't see it right now, but this is where it would live in the overview. And also I have a section here that is called goal URLs. And goal URLs will show me the pages which converted, the pages where the goal actually took place. I also have the reverse goal path, and that also is important. It kind of shows me the previous steps that took place before the goal. So if I have a funnel leading to a goal, this is a good place to check it out. And my really important section here is funnel visualization. And this is where you get to see the funnel that the user is going through in case you have multiple pages. Moving on, there's another section here in conversion, and this is e-commerce. And e-commerce is an advanced topic, but let me give you the gist of it. There are two types of e-commerce in Google Analytics. The first one is the basic one, and the second is called enhanced e-commerce tracking. Now, the difference between the two is obviously the implementation, how you're going to implement it on your website. But for both cases, it's pretty similar. You're basically sending Google Analytics information every time somebody buys something from your store. So you would send all the transaction details, including a list of products that the user have purchased with information such as the SKU number, the price of the product, the shipping associated with each product, and maybe the category that the product belongs to. And you would also send information about the overall total value of your transaction and some more information related to shipping. And all of this gets sent to Google Analytics through you, through your developer, through your development or plugin or whatever usage you're implementing. And once you send it to Google Analytics will collect all this data and process it for you and then produce what is called as e-commerce reporting. And again, because we have two types, the enhanced e-commerce tracking is a little bit more complex because it involves you sending information to Google around returns of your products or products that are getting, let's say, exchanged, or more details about the transactions that will help you in tracking more information. But believe me, for the most part, the very basic e-commerce is a good start. So once you implement this, I think you're going to get a lot of insights from your users who are buying from your store. So make sure that you implement at least the basic e-commerce tracking in Google Analytics. And once you do, you will have a section here that is called Product Performance. And that is where you will have a list of all your products, showing you exactly which product sold more over a period of time. And you also have sales performance, which kind of bulks all of your sales together and gives you a more detailed report. You can also look it up by transactions. And again, as you're giving your information to Google Analytics, and you do that through JavaScript, you do that through any kind of development. Probably if you're having WordPress installation, you can use a plugin for it. There are tons of free plugins that you can attach to WordPress, and that will allow you to send information to Google Analytics e-commerce transactions. But what I've done in the past is I've programmed this myself on the thank you page, sending out the information that is related to the transactions and kind of bundling the whole transaction details and sending it to Google in the form of a JavaScript. And again, this takes place again through the use of events, because you can attach an event that is called transaction success, for example, and when that happens, that's when you actually send the data to Google Analytics. That's it. I'm not going to complicate it more for you, but again, there is more reporting around transactions when it comes to time to purchase. This is also an interesting report. I wish I had a real-time example here. Maybe in the advanced reporting, I will dig deeper into this. But the idea is that you will be able to see your users converting over a period of time. So you will be able to assess how many days on an average a user take in order to convert and buy something from your store, or even buy something from any product that you have in your store. Moving on, multi-channel funnels. Again, this is important. Let me explain this topic. And mind you, this particular tutorial is more about the talk. I wanted to keep it simple, where I'm giving you information rather than trying to show you data. The idea behind multi-channel funnels goes back to marketing in general. So let's say you are selling a particular product. There are many models of attributing the sale. You can say the last touch is what determines my sale. For example, let's say I want to sell, again, let's go back to this remote control. I love this remote. I want to sell this remote, and I'm going to promote it in so many ways. I'm going to put an advertisement in Facebook. I'm going to put an advertisement in Google search, and I'm going to put a banner on my website. And let's say probably I'm going to advertise in Instagram as well. Let's say one user goes through Facebook, sees the ad, doesn't care, goes through another channel, sees the ad, doesn't care, and then finally goes to Instagram and makes his decision to buy it. In the default attribution model in Google Analytics, the sale of this particular item would be attributed to the last touch, which is Instagram. And this is how Google considers this to be the reason why the sale was made. But in the real world, in marketing, all of these different channels, they all assisted in making the sale. And this is what we called assisted conversion, or in Google terms, assisted conversion. Yes, okay, Google said that too. So the idea is that all of these different channels had a reason for the user to convert, and we cannot rely on only one, but all of them combined. Think of players playing a soccer game. Obviously, it's not one person who scores, but the whole team together are the ones leading to the high score or the failure of a particular team. So, in the same way, if you want to consider your marketing channels across all the board and attribute a different percentage for each of the channels every time somebody buys something from your store, guaranteed that they actually saw all these channels, then you have to use the assisted conversions. And this is where you get to it. You will be able to see here a number that is because of the assistant conversion versus last click or direct conversion value, the default attribution model for Google Analytics. Obviously, there's also the top conversion paths, and this is again giving you somehow a prioritization of the pages that have led to conversion. There's the time lag, and this one is also, it's going to break down your conversion by time. And you also have the path length, which is also interesting because it tells you how many pages they had to go through in order to convert. And finally, we have the attribution model here. And this is a model comparison tool by Google that allows you to view your numbers not only using the last interaction, but using several other mathematical conversion attribution models that exist out there. And this is really nice of Google to create for us, because we are able at that time to compare against the different attribution models and see which ones really might work for you depending on your business. So this is pretty much it. I didn't want to delve into numbers in this episode. I wanted to keep it high level, keep it for beginners level, and kind of give you the gist of conversion, because conversion is really a more advanced topic when it comes to Google Analytics. In the next episodes, there is one more episode for basic users or for kind of beginners, and this is the real-time in Google Analytics. We will have a look at this, and after that we will start all of our advanced tutorials for Google Analytics, and we will get into each one again in detail. I'm going to have a particular question and answer. That's the type of tutorials that I'm going to have. Really short and concise. We go ahead, have a question, answer it, and get over with the tutorial. It's going to be short tutorials of 5 to 10 minutes maximum, whereas our beginners tutorials were spanning over a period of 20 minutes, around 20 minutes. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, rather long one, but I hope you learned a thing or two from it. And make sure you subscribe to webawk.com, because I will be giving you more details about data analytics and also marketing tips. And until a new episode with me, Danny, take care.